This is From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Each week, Janice shares her wisdom to enlighten, educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our podcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspective, Spiritual Truths. My name is Janice Pons. I'm the host on our podcast. We are going to continue our amazing journey on this podcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspective, Spiritual Truths. We're going to continue to dive into different issues that are affecting us as Americans, that are affecting our fellow Americans who were living paycheck to paycheck, barely making ends meet last year. 265,900,000 who were in that position. And it's a lot of dynamics going on. Yes. But things are turning around. They were living barely making ends meet, but there's so many economic opportunities that are unfolding in our nations, and people are going to get good jobs. Oh, yeah. 79% of Americans said we were going in the wrong direction last year. We're going in a totally different direction. And some people are squalling and some are rejoicing. But we're going to keep praying for our president. That's why this seal is here. Our flag behind us represents the whole nation. We need each other to pray. We need to be praying for our leadership, the cabinet, for our fellow Americans. We want everyone to do well. And so we're going to continue to examine some issues that we've looked at. And tonight, we're going to take a deep dive into a threat to democracy. I've heard over and over again said, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Well, we're going to look at a threat to democracy. And from our clinical perspective tonight, we're going to look at remaining resolute. What does that mean, to be resolute? We're going to take that perspective and tie it in with what we're going to dissect starting now. A threat to democracy. How was anything threatened? Let's explore this together, my fellow Americans and my brothers and sisters. Remember, we are always going somewhere, and it's expecting us when we get there. Come and go with me. Vice President J.D. Vance rejects a narrative that the Democrats have been pushing, where they would say, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. The vice president clearly addressed the real threat to democracy. This is what he said. He said, the threat to democracy is Democrats came close to indefinite control over the country. Democrats and elements of the liberal media have suggested ad nauseum that President Donald Trump, his supporters, and like-minded Republicans constitute threats to democracy. After a Biden officials group got Trump temporarily removed in 2023 from the presidential primary ballot in Colorado, former President Joe Biden, he tweeted, Trump poses many threats to our country. The right to choose, civil rights, voting rights, and America's standing in the world. But the greatest threat he poses is to our democracy, Biden said. Years after calling her political opponents enemies of the state, Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California, said in 2024, April of 2024, that Trump is a great threat to our democracy. I think they get together and they take notes and say, this is what you're going to say. They all say the same. The news says the same thing. Mainstream media, if you just run a stream, they're all saying the same thing. It was a radical success less than a day after a Democratic donor who claimed democracy is on the ballot in the 2024 election allegedly tried to assassinate Trump. New York Magazine rushed to inform its readers that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, and saying so is not incitement. They don't think that, they just say it, and then people repeat it. It's all on social media. You can tell they don't know how to think for themselves. Most people don't know how to use basic logic and deductive reasoning. It's really sad. It's really sad because if you know how to use basic logic and deductive reasoning, if you have any type of spiritual discernment, you can see it. A political attempt intended for those who threaten to diminish Democrats' hold on power is what this is all about. They want to gain control over us, and so they say Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. The Republicans are a threat to democracy. This repetition has prompted some on the right to seriously reflect on that which actually threatens the American republic's democratic processes. In his keynote speech at an Ohio, where was he at? He was at an Ohio Republican Party dinner. J.D. Vance said this. He made it clear that the apparent effort by Democrats to import and then normalize new voter blocks rather than engage and help homegrown Americans to seek out a new voter block as opposed to serving the current voter block. That's the real threat to democracy. Illegal immigration was the most important issue confronting this country, and the most important issue that was destroying this country for over 4 years. Oh yeah, if we had any idea last year that illegal border crossing would be down 95 to 99%, most people wouldn't have believed it. Based on what was going on. I heard, oh man, this is amazing. Who would have believed it? President Trump has been very effective. The two issues that caused him to win was the issues were illegal immigration and the economy. All kind of things are happening with our economy. Oh yeah, and illegal immigration, people coming across the border, is just down to zero, pretty much. He's very effective, and they want to say he's a buffoon. He's a fool. He doesn't know what he's doing. The man's a genius. I love it. There's no way that we're going to have illegal border crossing that much in the period of time that it happened without President Trump being very specific and aggressive in keeping us safe. It was a radical success. Radical success. I believe that it saved the country because we know exactly what the Democrats would have done. But listen, they were focused on getting people in here illegally to the point where they had a flight program where they were paroling them out of prison in Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, I have a hard time saying that word, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. And did any of those people who were the recipient of that come over here and unalive our citizens? Oh yeah. You know what the goal was? They wanted to give 25 million illegal aliens every single one of them, the right to vote and to turn them into permanent wards of the Democratic Party. That was the goal. They didn't care about you and me. They didn't care about the millions of Americans that were living paycheck to paycheck and barely making ends meet. They brought those millions of people in, and what was happening? We were paying for their housing, health care, child daycare, education, food, and free money card while they watched us suffer. So that was going on. Then we had USAID. Previous podcast just recently, we dealt with how they were taking that money and funding NGOs, and they were living hound hog, getting over on us like a fat rat. That's just what was going on. And they want to say that President Trump is a threat to democracy because he stopped it. He stopped their gravy train. Now we have largely solved the problem. Democratic lawmakers have forced their way upon us, and they work feverishly in recent years to give foreign nationals the right to vote. Certain jurisdictions in California, Maryland, Vermont allowed non-citizens to vote in local elections. There were also indications that some non-citizens had been registered in Democratic enclaves to vote in federal elections. Troubling matter that the Trump administration, they're taking it very seriously. The man is not playing. Thank God we got a leader with backbone. The Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against the Orange County Registrar of Voters for refusing to provide the DOJ with records pertaining to the removal of non-citizens from its voter registration list and for failing to maintain an accurate voter list in violation of the Help America Vote Act. My fellow Americans, my brothers and sisters, that is what is a threat to democracy. Let's look. Let's look at how that all those dynamics, guys, that's the threat to democracy. These people have been the most diabolical liars ever. They gaslight, they twist, they manipulate, and they lie, which connects us to our clinical perspective, the need to remain resolute. What does that mean? Why do we need to do that? This means to be firmly resolved or determined, set in purpose or opinion. The threats to our nation require resolve like never before. DEI and the airplane industry, I have dissected that, repeated it on purpose. They put us in so much danger to push this DEI thing that they wouldn't even hire 1,000 white Americans who had finished school. That's from the pit of hell. The threats to our nation require resolve like never before. And the DEI and the airline industry, oh yeah, the immigration debacle and what was forced on us, we got to remain resolute, which means to stay determined and unwavering in our purpose or our beliefs, especially when facing challenges or opposition. It implies a firm commitment to a decision or course of action. We got to have a course of action without wavering or giving into doubt or discouragement. There's a more detailed listen. We've got to be so resolute and united because they wanted to bring this country to its knees. Oh yeah, being purposeful, determined. Jesse Rogers here in Tulsa, he spearheads city elders. It's spreading all over the nation. That effort, that grassroots effort is locked down on being resolute. And I think Out of 39, I know Jesse, I love Jesse and his wife and their boys, and I think they have one daughter. Out of 39 candidates that they got involved in the political process, I think 35 of them won. That's powerful. That's resolute determination. It involves being unwavering. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse Rogers, for being unwavering. It signifies an ability to stay the course, even when faced with difficulties, temptations, or conflicting opinions. It involves being steadfast and firm. Resolute. It implies a steadfastness in convictions. If you get a group of people like city elders and other organizations and Beckett, who won the Supreme Court, regarding these parents standing up in Montgomery County, Maryland, that their children were not, kindergartners were not going to be subjected to the LGBTQ indoctrination. Resolute. Oh yeah. Steadfast in convictions, a refusal to be easily swayed or intimidated. It involves not giving up. Remaining resolute is about persevering through obstacles and maintaining a positive attitude, even when the path is challenging. Why are some people more resolute? Why? Why are some more resolute than others? The mindsets that we reach for what often are the ones that support our deepest social and emotional needs. We need the more resolute people, the ones that are going to stick to it. The actions and dispositions of resolute people, it feels natural to them. They're born for it because resolve helps them meet needs. Oh yeah, helps them meet needs. Like competence, independence, influence, meeting high standards, making progress. What's the benefits of having a resolute mind? All teams need someone who will get things done and get them done right. Whether or not the resolute mindset is one that comes naturally for you, calling upon this mindset helps you stand up for what you believe, what you advocate for, what needs to have our persistence through challenges that might otherwise threaten your goals, maintaining confidence in perspectives. Oh yeah, even if it causes discomfort. Wow, guys, teams work well together. There's a resentment that we can stave off when we're resolute together. What have we looked at tonight? Threat to democracy. What's really been a threat to democracy? And our clinical perspective was exploring the dynamics of being resolute, which is vital in taking on these threats to democracy. Oh yeah, after they came after Trump the way they did, that man took a bullet to his head. He became more resolute than ever. I thank God for him. I can't imagine where we would be as a country right now if the Obama, Biden, Harris cabal was in charge of our nation. God had mercy on us. Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. There's so many successes that President Trump has, and there's just going to be more. He's not playing. He's going to ramrod straight through. Why? For us. We've never had anybody fight for us like he has. It's America first. And he's making good on his promises. And there are a lot of other, there are things that have to be walked in. We're 6, 7, going on 8 months in. Guys, some things take time. We need to continue to pray for him because we are believing for great things in our nation. Great things. as we unite together as one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The enemy of our souls has tried his best to divide us, lying, manipulation. I can spot him a mile away with his lies, and I say, you shut up! Be quiet. You're the father of lies. The truth has never been in you. If you're speaking, you speaketh a lie. The truth has never been in you. Now just take care of it and move on. That's resolute. That's being resolute. That's a spiritual perspective, that we're in spiritual warfare. They were coming for our children. They were coming for us. They had us paying for all of these diabolical agendas. As Americans, we're living paycheck to paycheck, barely making ends meet. Listen, guys, we're one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There's that flag behind us. I love that flag. Oh, yeah. I love this presidential seal. It reminds us to pray for our president. He needs our support. He needs our prayers. We need each other, guys. I don't give 2 cents, really, about political parties. I don't. I care about America. It's America first. And the children. Everything. Grown people can do whatever they want to do. But when you start targeting children in these agendas, that's a whole other matter that someone needs to speak up for, and that would be me and millions of others. Listen, guys, we're going somewhere. It's expecting us when we get there. We're gonna go there. We're gonna keep going there. I want to encourage you. I'm going to continue to talk about the subscription to Patreon. You all encouraged me to do that, and I'm pursuing that, and it's got to build. And so I'm going to be talking about that. You can see that on my website, janicepons.com. You can see it on my social media postings. I'll be talking about it there. I really appreciate it, and I'm saying it here. And so thank you for your patience with me. I'm going to be getting exclusive content out. And just been responding to. I've been doing a little video clip where I've been recording on Just Walk It Out, and it's being viewed by thousands of people. I appreciate that. I got prompted to do that as I was walking, doing my walk breaks at work. Instead of taking smoke breaks, I take walk breaks, and just pursuing wellness and wholeness, and encouraging us to do the same. Everybody has a path and it's different, and so I'm gonna really go all the way in. I mean, I'm getting older, and I'm grateful to be alive. We're going somewhere. It's expecting us when we get there. I know a place. Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody worried. Yeah. Ain't no smiling faces. Those faces that were frowning, they're going to smile because they're going to fight. We're going to stand together. Fight means we're just going to unite. Lying to the races. That's what they were doing. They've been lying to us, and the covers have been yanked off. And you know what? We come over here and we talk about it. I know a place. Somebody told me I need to sing. Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody worried. Ain't no smiling faces. That's gonna change. Lying to the races. Help me. Come on. Somebody help me now. I'll take you there. We are gonna keep going there. I had somebody tell me, you need to keep singing sometime on your podcast. Listen, I'll take you there. And that's what I do on this podcast. We go from destruction to dignity. Destructive patterns to dignified patterns. Clinical perspective, strategy, skills, and tools that we can consider, ways of thinking, spiritual truths. God has a plan for America. He's not done with America. You know why? We are still here. Listen, keep coming back. I will see you next week. I appreciate you guys. If you're looking at this, you've been prayed over. I support you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you next week. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
We are one power, strength is ours, liberty, been set free, education, affirmation, dedication, information, revelation.